planned into two different segments. One will be a presentation, second will be a live demo that we are actually planned on our demo lab. And along with me, my technical engineer is also joined, Mr. Milan Oliver. He will give the deep detail in the technical aspects of Ekran system, and he will also supporting the pre-sales and post-sales projects for Ekran systems from Bulwark. So before moving into the webinar, I just want to discuss about the overall agenda of what we plan for today's session. So initially, we'll have an introduction about Bulwark and Ekran system and about the partnership. And also we will explain the full cycle insider threat management from the Ekran system with the different kind of use cases and different kind of functionalities. As I already said, we have a live demo set already planned on our demo lab, and also we can discuss different kind of use cases. And finally, as I already all for every webinar that we'll have a question answer session. You can clarify all the queries and you can clarify all kind of doubts related to the functionalities of Ekran systems. And in between, if you have any kind of queries you want to clarify with us, you are feel free to contact, and you can make your chat and send to all the panelists. So maybe at the same time or maybe the end of the session, we can come back to you and we can resolve your queries. So myself, I'm AROMAL. I'm the product specialist for Ekran system from Bulwark Technologies. And along with me, my technical consultant, Mr. Milan Oliver, who is taking care of the technical aspects of Ekran system. And also, I just wanted to introduce my regional manager, Mr. Gary, who is taking the channel of BAHRAIN region. As an introduction about Bulwark, we are actually the specialized value-added distributor for information security solutions. And we are being in that 21 years of experience in the Middle East, and also now we are for the India in the last 3 years. And our company was established in the year of 1999. So we are celebrating our 21st anniversary. And our Indian company was established in 2017. We are representing almost 22 plus technology vendors and their portfolio. We have around 700 plus business partners across Middle East and Indian region. So as a partner community, you are already familiar and you already associated with different kind of distributors for the different kind of technologies and different kind of services. But among that, why should you select Bulwark? So Bulwark have established an excellent track record in delivering the world-class products and excellent customer service in different kind of technologies. And we are partners of best of breed technology vendors and their different kind of technologies portfolios. We're almost offering different kind of award-winning products and technologies with excellent customer service. Also, Bulwark deliver the round to the neck and value-added service through our partner network across Middle East and Indian region. We work as an extended arm of our security vendors, which is who is already providing different kind of technologies in the different kind of regions. And also we are promoting and selling the IT security and cyber security products and solutions through our reseller channel partner community. And we have our dedicated sales, marketing and certified technical team members who can deliver and support you for the pre-sales, post-sales projects for Ekran systems. So from here, I'm just handing to my technical consultant, Mr. Milan. Milan, you can go for it.
Hi everyone, thanks AROMAL for the introduction. So yeah, myself Milan, I'm working as a technical consultant for Bulwark. So now today I'll be the one who will be delivering the session. Like as we said, like we have got like a presentation ready for you explaining about the features. Then we can move on to the demo lab, like so I can showcase you how Ekran like as a solution will work, what are the features it can offer to you, how things are done from the console. So as we said, like we have got like a Q&A session. So like if you have got like any queries in between, please let us know in the chat session and we will be happy to address all your queries. So moving ahead with the presentation. So I'll start with a quick overview about Ekran system. So we are actually a US-based organization established in 2013, and like when it comes to the customers, like we are targeting both SMB as well as large enterprise like great customers. As a solution, we also offer you various compliance. Plus, we are an organization which is complying with ISO as well as NIST compliance. And on top of that, we are actually an authorized Microsoft partner for the Azure, so that like we extend our solution to Azure platform for monitoring as well as deployment. Now, the main purpose like of Ekran is that like it will help you to prevent insider threats. So when we talk about insider threats, let's take a look into each and every organization. There are different types of users, you know that. And like these users, like maybe it can be a consultant, a third party user, maybe like an internal users, and on top of that, there are also privileged users. So you have to make sure that all these types of users should be monitored, because like a consultant, like we are actually providing them an access to our critical resources, critical devices. And like on like maybe like on like some occasions they might need to access these critical devices to do certain activities. And like there are internal users as well as privileged users who are like doing day-to-day activities within your organization. So you should be having a solution to monitor each and every activity. Okay, and on top of that, like Ekran will help you to provide you a complete investigation report, such as like if something has happened, like we provide you who has done what on which device. Okay, so this is what like we do. And on top of that, we also make sure that we help our customers to meet the compliance, such as PCI, NIST compliance, HIPAA compliance, and so on. So in a nutshell, it can help you to prevent insider threats by monitoring as well as by taking certain actions. Plus, it will also help you to achieve compliance. Now, when we look into the architecture, basically like we are actually using a Windows server for deploying the solution. So we need like for deploying the solution, we need a Windows based server so that like we can deploy our application server. And for the database, we do support like two types of database. One is Microsoft SQL database, and the other one is a PostgreSQL. So why two database? Because like sometimes like maybe like an SMP customers, they will not be having like a licensed Microsoft SQL version. So what they do they can stick with an open source one, which is PostgreSQL. And you can see that like the wide range of platforms which we support. So this is how we differentiate from the competitors, because like there are solutions which will provide you monitoring options. But when it comes to the features and the platform supported platforms, they might be having only like few, such as like maybe like Windows desktops or Mac. But like we are actually offering you Windows, Mac OS servers, Linux servers, Citrix. Even like we can monitor the devices hosted on Azure, Amazon, like AWS, plus terminal servers, VDIs. Then this like it's we have got like a huge list, and like let it be any device, just deploy the agent. Or we can also, there are like agentless approach like for the critical devices through a PAM gateway. So there are multiple ways to monitor each and every device. Now, the next slide explains about like the multi-tenancy offer. So in case if the customer has got like different locations or different branch scattered across the globe, yes, you can definitely manage these locations from a centralized dashboard. As a reseller, you can also opt for a multi-tenancy option, so that like you can manage your own customers from a centralized dashboard. So you have to get like the license, and you can deploy it for your end customers, like maybe like an AMC contract something, and you can manage their resources. You can monitor their assets from your central dashboard. So we offer you multi-tenancy. Now let's jump on to the features. I've split up the features into two sessions. Like one is like an activity monitoring one, and the second session will be based on the IAM, identity and access management. So I'll start with the activity monitoring, where we will be helping you to monitor each and every user activity. Let it be a consultant, normal user, internal user, as well as privileged user. With the help of our activity monitoring functionalities and features, we help you to monitor each and everything done by a user on a device. So how we do it, like we actually need to deploy an agent on the and target device. And once the user logs into the machine, the agent will start monitoring each and every activity. So we provide you the information such as who was the user logged into the device, at what time they have logged in, what are the applications they are using, what are the websites they are visiting, how much time they are spending on each web application as well as website, whether they are doing some unauthorized or malicious activities such as like visiting a website, launching an unauthorized application, maybe executing an unauthorized command or like a critical command on a Linux machine. So there are so many use cases which we can achieve, and like we provide you all these informations in a video format or in a log format. So you can see on my screen a user was actually browsing Facebook. Okay, this can be an unproductive website during business hours. Okay, so what we do is that we help you to monitor these activities. We provide you a complete investigation report based on a video format. So what we do is that like we capture each and every snapshot based on the user activity, and we merge it together as a video output and will provide it to you. So from this video player, like you can actually take a snapshot, you can send it across to the HR team or to the management as an audit log. You can also like search through our search bar option, so that like if there is a 8-hour session and you want to jump into a specific event, all you have to do is that go to the search option and search for that specific event. We can also highlight you certain notifications, maybe like the things which you have to look into as an IT administrator. So we highlight you critical events, alerts, and notifications can be provided to you. So this is how we provide you investigation report or investigation logs. So as I said, you can go ahead and see the complete session recording, or you can go and like schedule a report or download a report, so that like all the informations will be sent across to your email ID, or like you can download it directly from the console. Now, the next feature is a very good like tool which can be used to monitor the users in real time, which means that like there is a third party consultant and I want to see what exactly he is doing on my one of my device. So I can click on this and I can see the activities done by him in real time. So whatever he is doing, like I can see it on my screen, and this goes for the users. You know that like due to recent pandemics, people are actually working from remote locations. They are working from home or maybe a public place. Okay, and like very few people are coming to office, and like it's like a difficult task or job for the management to monitor the users who are working from a remote space, because of course they will be using a business laptop, but they will not be going through any security devices which are already in place within the like organization, like infrastructure. So they will be connecting directly from home. They will be using their Wi-Fi, home Wi-Fi, and they will be connecting, doing their day-to-day activities. So what we do is that we, even though they are working from a remote place, we can actually deploy the agent to their machines, and we can monitor them over the internet or through a VPN channel, and we can pull out all the real-time information or like past events based with respect to their activities. So this will give a complete or clear picture to the management or to the team how productive the user is. Because like maybe like a user working from home, he can do whatever things like he want. He can like pretend to be working, okay, but and he can do certain other things. So what we do is that we provide you complete information at what time they have logged in, how productive they are, whether they are doing any unauthorized activity. And all these reports can be fetched from the console, or like it can be scheduled and like sent across to the person in charge or to the department head. So real-time monitoring tool will provide you complete real-time information. Plus, we can also take necessary action. So in case I found that like one of the user is doing certain unauthorized activity, I want to stop that activity. So with a single click, I can actually block the user. So he will not be able to continue his session unless and until I approve them. Now, as I said, we measure the productivity for each and every user. So this was one of the use case which we have executed like for one of the biggest entity here. Okay, and like their main purpose was to monitor all of their users, people working from home, people working who are coming to office. So they need like a productivity report. So what we do is that like we have segregated like the users based on the departments, and we are sending like each department report to the department head, as well as like we also share a copy to the HR department. Okay, so what informations we do share is that like we provide them the user, the date they have logged into the machine, the total working hours. So you can see that like from the slide, the user was actually working for 3 hours 48 minutes. Are they like whether they were productive for 3 hours 48 minutes? No, they were actually like active only for 29 minutes. The remaining time they were simply idle, which means that they were not doing anything. So the system is capable to calculate the idle time as well. So if there is no activity on the screen, if the person is idle, we measure the time and we provide it to you. So first activity and last activity time, plus we provide you the information on application and the web usage. So out of these 29 minutes, he was actually using YouTube for 5 minutes, Facebook for 18 seconds, Firefox for 10 minutes, Explorer, that means like the file explorer for 17 minutes. So this is how we measure the productivity for each and every user. Now about the agent, we make sure that like we are deploying the agent. So we have to make sure that this agent is very protected, very well protected. So there is a password which will prevent the agent uninstallation. So it's tamper proof. Without the uninstallation string or like the password, like no one will be able to uninstall the agent. Now talking about the deployment, actually there are like two types of deployment which we can offer to the customers. One is a stealth mode deployment, so that like no one will ever know that there is an agent running on their machine. It will be completely hidden. It will not be visible in the control panel or in the application list. Of course, like it will be showing like in the registry files or in the program data, but like a normal user will not be having any privilege to visit this location. So we can deploy the agent in a complete stealth mode and we can monitor their activity. The next option is like, of course, show the agent to the users. So if you want to show a pop-up message or like a notification message to the users, yes, we can definitely do that. So when a user logs into the system, we can give them a notification saying that your activities are getting monitored. Okay, so something like that. The agent is protected with the password, as well as like there are multiple deployment options. Now talking about the next feature, which is known as offline monitoring. So you know that like in some cases, I've seen people or users, they try to bypass the network if they want to do some unauthorized activity. So first thing what they do is that they disconnect themselves from the network. Maybe like if they are having an access to a hotspot like or Wi-Fi configuration, they can connect their mobile device, they can connect a hotspot, and they can connect their laptop, and they can bypass their existing security devices within the network. Okay. So what we do is that even though they are working from a remote location, or even though they are not connected to the server, we will be still monitoring their activities, and we will be storing all the logs in an encrypted format within the local drive itself. And um, each and everything done by the user will be recorded and it will be stored locally. Once they are connected back to the server, we will be synchronizing all the logs with the server so that the IT person can actually see the events once they went offline, when they went offline. So this way we can also monitor like each and every activity for the offline users. And by default, it is coming up with like 500 MB of like the configuration is 500 MB by default. So it will store the data up to 500 MB. But you can definitely increase this size. So all you have to make sure is that there is enough storage on the drive. So any questions like with respect to the activity monitoring features? So I've got a question. Is it a cloud deployment? Actually, we are offering on-premise, like we are offering you multiple types of deployment. The system can be deployed complete on-premise. So as I said, like we need one database, one Windows server to host the application, as well as a database to host the configurations and the files. So it's an on-premise deployment, but like we have also got an option for Azure. So if you've got like Azure space and you can get the template and you can deploy the solution. And like if you've got like an AWS location, maybe like a space, you can host a Windows server and you can install the application software within your Amazon as well. Okay, I've got next question. How much storage need to record? So it's completely depend on the user activity. So we say that like maybe like for 8 hours, like for a day's session, based on like 8 hours, we might need 150 MB of storage per user. This can be reduced or this can be increased, okay, based on the activity. As I said, like within 8 hours, users might go idle. Okay, they will not be working like some time. So we only have to calculate the active time, active hours. The next thing is that we are also offering you certain capabilities such as archiving, cleaning up the older logs. So if you are really concerned about the storage, you can archive and clean up the older logs. Remote user monitoring, is it possible? uh, yes, definitely. As I said, we have got like multiple options when it comes to the deployment. Some of our customers have deployed the agent using a public IP or a DYNE DNS. Okay, so the agents are communicating over the internet to the server. All you have to do is that make sure the ports are forwarded from your firewall to the Ekran server. The second type is like over the VPN. So if your remote user is definitely using VPN, that means they are connected to the network, okay, over the VPN application. So we can monitor them. So multiple options are there for monitoring the remote users. Okay, I think like that's all. So we can move on to the next session, which is known as IAM, Identity and Access Management. Here, we offer you a couple of features. One is two-factor authentication. The second one is like one-time password, kind of a workflow. And the third one is like gem server. I've got like one more question. During ideal time, is the session being recorded or it will resume recording when there is an activity? Yes, definitely. So when a user goes idle, we don't have to record the screen because like to save up the storage, like we can disable, like we can stop the recording at that specific time. But the moment there is an activity on the user machine, we will continue the recording. So we will not be skipping anything. We will make sure that any activity is monitored. If he goes idle, we will stop to save up the storage. But there are also other options. You can capture a snapshot every 30 seconds if you want, which is like the least preferred one, because you don't have to miss out like certain critical things in between these 30 seconds. So if you want a snapshot, it's better like capture it based on the user activity. Okay, so let me move on to the IAM part. So starting with the identity and access management. So here we can offer you two-factor authentication, 2FA, which means that like in case if the user is logging into their laptop, desktop, they can actually use a mobile application, which is like either from Google Authenticator or Microsoft Authenticator, and they can generate an OTP token, okay, and they can securely log into the Ekran portal, like, and to the user machine. So what we do is that we provide them an additional layer of security on top of the Windows login. So whenever the user types Windows credentials or like something like that, or like switching on the laptop, they will get a page from Ekran asking them to enter the OTP token. So they can enter the OTP token and they can log into the device. So it saves cost because like we are providing this feature completely free of cost, okay, along with our existing license. The next type is like the request-based password option, which means that you might have seen that like sometimes we are actually providing access to the critical devices, maybe like to a third-party consultant, maybe a Windows server, maybe a database server, something like that. And this consultant wants to log into this server. So instead of providing them a full-time access, what we can do is that we can create a request-based access, which means that they will be knowing the credentials. But when they put their credentials, they will be getting this page from Ekran. So all they have to do is that they have to click on this request password option and they have to put their email ID. So once they put their email ID, the request will be forwarded to the administrator or to the person in charge, and they can actually accept or deny the request. So if they are accepting, the person who was requested will get an OTP token within his email, and he can use this OTP token to log in securely to the server. Okay. This is also very useful if even like for your privileged users as well, IT people who are regularly logging to the server. So you can enable this option and you can make sure that only the people who have got an approval will be able to log into the server. I've got like a couple more questions. Instead of monitoring entire activity, can we monitor only based on created use cases? Yes, we can go ahead with the use cases, such as I don't want to monitor each and everything, but I want to monitor specific application or a specific website. Yes, we can go ahead with that option as well, or a specific user or a specific IP. So we have got like multiple options when it comes to defining the things which need to monitor. Authentication license is separate. No, this two-factor authentication is there along with the agent license, so you can utilize this feature. Now, this two-factor authentication can also be automated like the workflow. Maybe like a user who is part of domain is like logging into the server, the system will be able to pull out the email ID from the AD, and like we will be able to automatically send the OTP token to this like to the person who has like tried to log in. So we can completely automate this like with the help of AD or local authentication. Now comes the PAM. So the first question which I've got like about the PAM is like how the license is counted. So I'll explain about the PAM and I'll jump on to like, then I'll address this question. So the PAM functionality is nothing but like, if there are like certain critical devices which you want to provide like an access to these critical devices, what you can do is that you can install an agent on one of your terminal servers and you can ask your privileged users to log into this gem server. So once they log into this gem server, they will be having like they will be given with an application which is from Ekran. So all they have to do is that click on the name which they want to connect. Let's say there is an RDP, there is an SSH. So they just need to click on it and they will be taking to like the system will take them to the production server. And for this, you don't have to share the credentials with the privileged user or maybe a consultant. It is completely vaulted within our password vault, which is AES 256 encrypted. So we can automate the logins okay, using our application. So we do support different types of connectors such as Windows connections, SSH, Telnet, SQL, web-based accounts. So multiple options are there. Now, coming back to the question which I have received, how the license is calculated. So basically we need two like informations. One is how many terminal servers are you going to deploy? Okay, so you know that like it is from Microsoft, so it should support terminal users, okay, CAL license. So how many terminal servers or gem servers you are going to deploy? Accordingly, you have to get like a terminal license for each and every device. So if you are planning to deploy 3 terminal servers or 3 gem servers, okay, to segregate the traffic, you can purchase 3 terminal license. Now comes the privileged users who are going to log into the PAM. So by default, we support like we provide you 20 users, okay, along with the terminal license. But if there is more than 20, yes, you have to let us know the count. So we will provide you the number of user license accordingly. Okay, so can I monitor critical activities such as PowerShell or administrator activities? Yes, we can do that. So if it is an administrator activity, we can go ahead with the terminal's jump server option. So we can monitor their access to the servers or to maybe like to an SSH console, SSH device, Linux, something like that. We can monitor them. Then we can also monitor certain utilities like or tools which are PowerShells, command prompt, PuTTY, anything. We can monitor the keystrokes executed on this PowerShell or PuTTY, anything, and we can trigger an alert. We can also take an action based on these admin level activities. So we can definitely provide you a full-fledged plan, like which will provide you the features, secure access plus password rotation for certain accounts such as Active Directory or work group, something like that. Then we can also monitor critical activities like commands executed, processes like applications which are used. So these things can be monitored. Okay. Now about the impact on the endpoints. The agent is very light. We only consume CPU usage of 0.45% and the memory consumption is 21.2 MB, which means that user will never face any issues with respect to slowness, or they don't even notice that there is an agent running on the machine. We have got like customers like who are using, like who have deployed solution for 1,500 devices, 1,200 devices, and like we have never seen any issues with respect to device slowness. Okay. Now about the storage, I already told you about the storage. So we usually tell our customers for 100 users, we need 2 TB of storage for 6 months. But like as I said, certain these things can be reduced. We are providing you multiple options when it comes to recording. There is an low bit recording, which is low resolution recording, which is 4-bit, grayscale mode, which is in like a black and white resolution. Then comes the 8-bit recording. There is also a 24-bit and higher resolution recording. So there are multiple options to record the activity. The second thing is that, as I told, we can also anytime we can archive, clean up the logs. So if you don't want the previous log, maybe like a month ago, you can definitely clean up these logs and you can save up the storage. Okay. Now some of our global customers. So we are actually having a good number of customers in the GCC region. This includes government, ministries, banking, finance, private sectors, okay, healthcare. So there are different customers which we are which we are providing this solution, and we can definitely help out with certain names based on your regions. Okay, so let us know if you come across like me, if your customer, any of your customers asking for reference from a specific industry, we can definitely help you out with that one. So what if the circumstance of PAM server goes down? So we are actually providing you multiple options. Like you can set up the options such as like high availability, as well as like I'll also check for a DR option. This way, like you can actually pull out this information. But like in this case, like if you're asking about like if your complete server is going down, like the primary and secondary, I have to check with the team like if we can pull out this information from the encrypted vault. So I just need to like check with my team like for any utility tool where we can pull out the information on the encrypted passwords. I can definitely check that option for you. I think like we can jump into the demo part. So this is like my console where like I'll be managing the solution. So first thing is that I'll be logging in with my credentials. So the moment I logged into the system, it will take me to the dashboard and I can jump into the monitoring results page where I can see each and every user activity. So you can see that like there are different agents like which are running on different machines, like there is like console Linux machines, then Windows servers, end user machine, workstation. So there are different machines which I'm monitoring. So if there is any thing like which I have to look into, all I have to do is that just click on this session and it will take me to the video recording. So this is a past event. So I was working on something and like you can see that like complete activities, okay, done by me. So this way, you will be able to see each and every activities, and that was in a grayscale recording. And I can also show you a live recording, which means that if a user is live, if a user is logged into the device, he can actually we can actually monitor them, okay, and we can see what are the activities which they are doing. So this is one of my session. So whatever things I'm doing here will be recorded. So let me open a notepad. I can jump back to my session and I can see the activities here. Right. Click on live. I will bring up the session. Okay, so it is coming. I just need to play it. And it will show me all the events and activities what I've done there. I can click on live and it will show me the live screen as well. And in case if you find out that there is some users doing some unauthorized activity, you can click on block user and you can give them a message. So they will be logged out of this machine. Or if you want to prefer like maybe a time period, like they should be logged out after this much second, you can definitely add the seconds. You can put the message here so they will be knowing like what is the reason they have logged out of the machine. And if they want to continue, okay, they have to get an approval, or like the person who has like logged out, block the user, they have to approve them. Okay, I've got another question. Is it a single agent for server and PC? So yes, the device like will be able to, like the agent will be able to recognize the device. So for the workstations and servers, a single agent. So all you have to do is that download the agent and deploy it. So the system will identify the type OS platform and it will install the necessary files. Can we integrate web-based application to the PAM? Yes, we can do that. Like I think like I've integrated one or two websites. I can definitely show that to you. Now, jumping back to the monitoring page, we can also see maybe I want to monitor certain keystrokes. I can definitely monitor these keystrokes. You can see that like what exactly what I was typing. So this way, like you can monitor, search for certain keystrokes which are executed by the users. Okay. Now, jumping back to the console. So this is how you monitor the or play the recordings. Now we have got like a report session which will provide you all the information based on various activities. So we have got like different types of reports, such as maybe like a user using certain application. I want to see what all applications they are using, how much time they are spending on each application. I can generate a report or I can schedule a report. Plus, we can also offer you in a pie chart format. The same goes for the URLs, all the URLs visited by the user, Linux commands executed, maybe like a user executing a command, and we can monitor them and we can provide you all the necessary information. Okay. A productivity report. In the slide in the presentation, I've already shown you what are the productivity reports, how to pull out the information around the user activities. So this way, you can either download the reports based on the device or the users, okay, and as well as the date, or you can schedule the report maybe on like a weekly basis, something like that, and you can send it across to the right person. We are also offering you interactive monitoring tool. So this tool will help you to pull out the information on the application as well as the web usage. Okay, so all you have to do is that click on generate, and you can see that these are the many websites visited by my like my users, okay, and these are the applications used by my users. So the visio.exe, which is like one of the application which I always use for create network diagrams or like for the for my business purpose. So I can see that these many times I've used Visio, okay, and if you want to play the recording, I can play it from here. The same goes for the website, okay. So I was visiting Wikipedia for 9 minutes, YouTube for 6 minutes. So if I want to see who was the user visiting YouTube, I can play the recording and I can see from here itself who was the user who was like visiting YouTube and what they were actually doing. So this way you can quickly jump into a specific event. So this was one of my users. I think like he was like browsing YouTube and you can see all the activities. He was doing some testing, I think. Okay, and sometimes this can be productive and sometimes these sites can be very unproductive. Okay, now jumping onto the client management settings. So this is where we define the policies. I've got like different devices, one Linux, one terminal jump server, there is a one workstation, and there is one normal Windows server. So these are different devices, and accordingly, the license may differ. So you have to give us like a right idea or right information, how many devices which you want to monitor, your customer wants to monitor, what are the platforms, okay, whether it's a Linux server, whether it's a terminal server, Mac OS, Windows, so many things are there. So we have to pull out this information. Now when you edit the settings, you can see what all parameters which you can define when it comes to monitoring. If I want to simply hide the agent, I can untick this box or I can tick this box so that the agent will be visible. We can protect the agent like so no one will be able to make any changes to the settings. Now the next thing is that like how the activity should be monitored. As I said, we monitor like based on the user activity, or we can capture the screenshots every 30 seconds. We can also set up the resolution. So I don't want the things to be recorded in 24-bit. I want to be having like in a grayscale. I can select 4-bit recording. Then comes the monitoring parameters, which are, as I said, I only want to monitor maybe my Skype. I can put the application name. So this will monitor only Skype and this rest of the things will be skipped. Or we can go vice versa, monitor all activities except my CRM. I don't want to monitor my business application. Okay, so this way you can define the monitoring parameters. The same goes for the user filtering. There are like maybe like let's assume there is a Windows server, one is like a critical server, and you want to monitor a specific user who's always logging into the server. So you can specify that user account. So maybe like there are 10 administrators and like they are logging in parallelly to the server, but you only need to monitor one of the administrator. You can go ahead with that option. Time, you can specify IP from where a person is logging in. So these are the monitoring parameters. Then we are also having like another monitoring option for audio recording, like for the URL monitoring. So any URLs like or any audios like used within the application will be monitored. And this is the offline cache. If the agent is not communicating with the server, we will be able to store all the recordings locally on the machine itself. And the next option is about the authentication. As I said, if a person wants to log into the server, then we can set up this option so that if a person wants to take an RDP to the server, he has to get an approval from my colleague like Mr. Yadu. Okay, so that like once he approves, he can like the person who wants to log in will be getting an OTP token and he can log into the device. Or we can enable two-factor authentication, which is an OTP mobile-based authentication option. And finally, keystroke monitoring. So if you want to monitor specific key events, yes, we can definitely monitor that one. So that's about the client settings. Now jumping onto the password management settings. So here we can define the policies. Okay, let me try to show you how things are added. So I want to create an authentication like account so that one of my IT person can connect to a target device using this account. So how I do this, I will give a name, maybe access to domain, okay, something like that. I will say that this will be using an Active Directory account. If it's an SSH account, yes, we can do that. If it is a web-based application, we can do that. I've also got a question: can we integrate web-based services and application? Okay, so this is how we can integrate the web-based applications. If it's an HTTP or HTTPS-based connection website, we can definitely integrate with that one. You just need to enter the URL. Okay, so after selecting your type of connector, you just need to save the credentials here. Okay, and if it is a Windows account, we can do the password rotation. Okay, it will connect to your AD or like maybe to your local machine, and it will do the password rotation. Okay, for the other accounts like SSH, we can do that, but for the web accounts, there is no password rotation. We can actually add the passwords to this field, and we can provide an access. Now, once the connectors like are created, like the secrets are onboarded, we can assign this to the user. So all you have to do is that add a user and provide them the PAM feature. We can also restrict them. Maybe, okay, even though this user is authorized to access this secret, they will not be able to do this like within this time. Okay, you can specify the time, or you can set an approval like a workflow, so that like even though they are having an access, they have to take an approval from the right person. Okay, so this is how we define a policy for the PAM. Is there any existing government customers in Bahrain? I have to check with my team. For the government sectors, we have got like ministries and government sectors in UAE, but I can definitely check this for you for the Bahrain region. Okay, now we can also integrate like the access management. Okay, so if a person wants to log into a device, you can, same like the PAM, you can set up the policies. If Bilal wants to log into a device, he has to get an approval from Milent, okay, something like that. So what you have to do is that like if he wants to log into this device, he has to get an approval from this person or administrator. So we can create a workflow, plus we can specify the time which is allowed to log in. We can integrate your mobile device from this session, so that like the mobile devices will be integrated, and you can generate the OTP token from your mobile application. All the access requests will be shown here. So you can see that one of the user has requested like an access to Ekran server 17 days ago, and we have approved it. We can also enable the options for monitoring the key serial USB devices. So I want to control the connected peripheral devices. I can say create a policy, which means that all I have to do is that enable the type of device which I want to monitor or allow or block. Then I can take the action. We are also offering you an option for mass storage devices. Maybe like you might have seen that mass storage devices are blocked by default by organization policies. But there are certain situations, maybe like one of your user wants to connect one of the USB device for business purpose. So what they can do is that instead of making the changes within the antivirus or like maybe in a DLP solution, something like that, you can take control of the mass storage device from Ekran itself. And whenever they want to connect a mass storage device, they can raise a request. Okay, so the admin will get the option and they can approve it, and the user who has requested will be able to connect the USB device. Okay, so we can also provide a workflow. And finally, jumping onto the alert management. So this is where we create the policies to define what action should be taken in case of a specific event. So as I said, we are not only a solution which provides you the monitoring option, we can definitely take actions based on the user activity. Maybe a user using a VPN application, okay, or a user visiting a specific website, command executing by user, maybe a user logging into a different, like a specific device. So all these informations can be monitored. We can send an email notification, okay, we can show a warning message to the user, or we can kill the application or block the user. So there are various actions which we can take, and by default we provide a couple of templates. Maybe like I don't want my any of my users visiting social networking websites. We have got like a readily available template. All you have to do is that just open this. So all the social networking websites are already listed here. Add the group or device to it. You can add both the ways. And this way, you can actually control the web as well as application usage, as well as certain events can be blocked and monitored. Now, let me show you a demo. Like I've already shown you use case for uh, monitoring. Let me see if I can show you a demo for the PAM as well as OTP. So I'll start with the PAM. So assume that this is my terminal server. We can provide two types of connection to your GEM server. One is a shell access. That means now you can see the complete GUI, RDP GUI, correct? But I don't want to provide a complete RDP console to my users, privileged users. So in this case, what you can do is that you can come to the properties of the settings and you can enable this option, replace Windows shell. Okay, that means like instead of getting a complete RDP, they will be only seeing an application based login. They will be only seeing an application page from Ekran, and they can use this to connect to the target devices. So how I will show you an RDP based connection. Now this is a jump server. I've logged in. All I have to do is that open this application. 1 minute. Yeah. Now I can see the list of devices which are assigned to me. Let's say I want to take a connection to one of my web application. I will click on it and it will open the session for me. So there is a certificate error. I'll just click on proceed. Let me connect again. I think the password is not saved. Yeah. Okay, so it directly took me to one of my email gateway solution, which is an HTTPS based solution. And whatever things I'm doing here is monitored from the GEM server. So this way you can automate things like for the application, web applications, like let me see if there is any accounts mapped. So this might be a Unix account. I will just open the connection to this device and it opened the putty, and I can it will log in me to the account, and whatever I'm typing here will be monitored. Okay, so I click twice, I'll close one session. So this way you can provide an access to your critical servers, SSH connections. And finally, I will show you an RDP connection. So this is an RDP connection. All I have to do is that click on it, and for the RDP you have to type the IP for one time and then it will be saved. So I'll just click on yes, and it took me to the RDP console. So this is how you provide a connection to your critical servers, critical production servers through Ekran. So there are certain use cases which I want to highlight, because that there are also dedicated PAM solutions. But when it comes to maybe an SMP customer, okay, it will be very difficult for them to get a dedicated PAM solution. Okay, so what they can do is that they can look into this, they can get a terminal license from Jump server license from Ekran, they can deploy it, and they can provide a secure access to your consultants or to the privileged users. Of course, we are also competing with PAM, dedicated PAM solution, because we offer you a Jump server architecture which other competitors are also doing. Plus we offer you different types of connections like web based or RDP based or SSH based. Now there are also use cases, maybe as I said, I got one question application based, maybe a thick client. What we can do is that in this situation, instead of of course we don't have any option to onboard thick client. So what we do is that we install the thick client on this machine itself. So whenever a person wants to use a thick client, they will be logging into a server, and from the they will be launching the thick client, like maybe like a thick client like this. They just need to launch the console and they have to do their activities, and everything will be monitored, because we make sure whatever they are doing here will be monitored and will be recorded. Okay, and you can use a different account here. So even though this thick client will not be installed on any other machines, it will be installed on the server. So this way we can also compete with like other PAM solutions which are in the market. Plus we can target the SMP customers, like which will prefer Ekran, because of the first thing is of course the cost. The second thing is that the management option, because it is very easy to deploy and very easy to manage. Okay, now I will just log out from this server, and I will show you the authentication option which I have shown you workflow. I will not be able to execute this because like I'll be using my Gmail account. So let me show you this one time. I'm going to enable the one-time option, and I'm going to specify that, okay, if anyone wants to log into the GEM server, he has to get an approval from Millet. So I will save this configuration, refresh this page. It is enabled. Now what I'll do is that I'll try to log in. Let me bring up my console here. Yeah, I'm just putting the IP. This time I'm using a different account. /Strater. I'm logging in. And this time it didn't allow me to log into the server. Why? Because we have created a workflow kind of a thing. It's like an OTP additional layer of security. Even though I know the credentials, but it doesn't allow me. So what I have to do is that I just need to request for password. I'll just put my Gmail ID here. I will request. And the moment I request, it was quite fast. I will bring up my email notification. See, it is giving me a message. It gave me a notification saying that one of your user, Milan, administrator, using milan@gmail.com wants to access this server. I can approve or deny it from here. It will take me to the login page, or I can go to the access management and I can see the request. I can approve, deny. So once I approve, the person who has requested will get the OTP token and he can log into the device. Now I've got like another question. Can Ekran integrate with payroll solution or ERP? I would like to know like what is your actual use case, because like if it is like maybe like an ERP access to your users and like kind of a web-based through PAM GEM server, we just need to check how the website is. Or like if you are looking to have like these reports and notifications sent to a payroll system or something like that, the product for measuring the productivity or something like that, I need to like know the exact use case. So what you can do is that after this session, just drop me an email about your exact use case. So I'll definitely help you out with this. Second question is it yearly cost or renewable? We are providing you a couple of options when it comes to the licensing. One is a perpetual option. So you just need to get the perpetual license, and the next year onwards, there will be a support cost, which is I think like 20% of the total value. So it's a very good option because like when you check with the competitors, they are only offering you a subscription based model, and it is like it will be a huge cost because like every year you have to put the same amount of money, invest the same amount of money to use a solution. But we are providing a perpetual option in the first hand, like, and you just need to get the support license, so that like you can keep the system updated and you can utilize all the latest feature, and this is just the 20%. Second option is, of course, like there are certain customers who look forward to have a subscription based module, and yes, we can also provide you this option. Okay. Now, yeah, we can also offer you a user behavior analysis, which means that like if in case like maybe a user has logged into the server, and like every time you want to see the moment a user logged out and you want to see what are the activities, so it will send you an email notification, okay, saying that this was the user who was logged in and this is the system score for the user. So yeah, let me give up like bring up one of my email. So you can see that one of the administrators logged into the machine at this time and this time. And if you want to see the session, you can click it from here, and there was no alert. Because like if you have triggered an alert, it will show the risk score, which I have to look into. So this way you can also get like critical email notifications based on certain login activities. Okay. And now coming back to the deployment, uh, the solution is very easy to deploy because, like as I said, like we just need a Windows server and we have got like an exe application which needs to be installed, and the system can be up and running in like less than 1 or 2 hours. Okay, and like we can also maybe like recently we have done an implementation for 500 users, and it took maybe like half day. We deployed the agent, we set up the server and everything. So it is quite easy. So make sure that like if the prerequisites are ready, like the port and communications, okay, for the agent server and the database is ready, we can deploy the solution within within quite few time. Related to the productivity reports can integrate with any web-based application. I have to check for this option. There is something coming up like there is an impossible integration with some of the solution. But like if you want to look for a SIM integration, we can provide you a SIM integration. Okay, we can integrate with your SIM solution and we can share these reports to your SIM solution. So if you are looking for a specific application, just name the application, we can check for all the possibilities. So SIM integration is possible to send the logs. So yeah, I think like I've covered like most of the things. So that's like what we do. We help you to pull out the information based on the user activities, monitor each and every user activity. We can take certain actions. We can also provide you a PAM feature. We can act as a PAM solution, as a two-factor authentication, and yeah, even the device control options are there. So this is what Ekran is, and the next thing is that like let us know, maybe if your customers are looking forward to have a solution like Ekran. Uh, I told you different use cases are there. Maybe it might be a PAM use case, maybe like a two-factor authentication, monitoring, productivity. There are different use cases. So let us know what is the use case which they are trying to achieve. We can come online, we can deliver you a demo for your customer, we can provide you a presentation demo explaining the functionalities, features, and we can help you out to onboard the customer. Okay, we can definitely do all the activities for you. So just let us know, share the customer information with us, and we will arrange for a session for you. So I think like I've covered all the topics. Now I can what I can do is that I can hand over to Mr. Aromal. Okay. And like you can also like we will also share you our contact details such as email ID and mobile number, so that like let us know. Just drop us an email if you have got any other additional queries. We will definitely get back to you as soon as possible. Aromal, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Milan. It was very in-depth kind of session, and it was explained on almost the different kind of use case that Ekran have. So I'm just requesting all my partners and the partner community that it was a great time, and you have to clarify all the your concerns and different kind of doubts regarding the Ekran systems. And if you have any further queries, if you want to connect with your kind of uh, your customers for a session or a demo or a POC, you are free feel to contact us, and we are ready to help you. So all the kind of pre-sales and post-sales activities we can ready to help you. And also, Milan will share his email ID on the chat box for any kind of technical queries. If you want to directly contact Milan, you can feel free to contact. For any other queries related to the sales product, please contact on my email ID. My email ID is aromal@bulwark.biz. And also my mobile and contact number is already displayed, and same number is the WhatsApp is also available. So once again, I thank you guys. Thank you for effort, and thank you, Milan, for in-depth kind of description about the product, and thank you, Gary, for the smooth kind of the inviting all the channel members. And once again, I thank you all the members who participated on the webinar, and have a nice day. Thank you.